Okay, you guys, so we are officially in December 1st, and I want to go over a few stocks that I want you guys to watch this week, simply based on some news that's been coming out, as well as one that has a nice little rumor to it that if it does go through, we can definitely expect a rally. Now, normally December is the month that stocks are rallying. Now, it's been kind of iffy these last few months, as well as with September supposed to be, the worst time on the market. But we actually saw stocks rallying in September, somewhat in November as well. So we're trying to see if this thing is really going to nick into December, where we usually expect the Santa rally, right? Santa Claus rally, however you want to look at it. It's been weird, okay, politically and on the market. But the very first stock we're going to look at is SoFi. Now, I wanted to look at SoFi first because SoFi is, well, you know what, it's going to be two of them that got a rumor to it. But this one is being rumored to be added into the S&P 500. Now, ScanDisk was just recently added to the S&P 500, saw a very nice rally. And we already know anytime something is added to the index, we can probably expect a nice rally from it. And so if SoFi is added, this thing could go crazy. Okay, it has already been on a nice run this year, and it's cheap, right? It could definitely see a massive demand there. And currently, this thing closed out at what, $29. So this could definitely be one that you want to keep on your radar in general. I talked about SoFi a lot this year, but them being added to the S&P 500 could be an opportunity you probably don't want to miss, whether you're buying and holding shares or if you're getting into calls. But don't just jump in just yet. Do your thing on the charts, look into that back end, and look into whatever you need to look into before going in. Okay? Now, me personally, primarily I swing trade. I hold my trades for an extended period of time. So over here, I am on SoFi on the daily time frame, and I want to give you guys a few levels that I want you to watch to the upside. So this little level here at 29.68. I've been kind of watching it, and as you guys can see, this is where we closed out. Well, not closed out, but you see where it touched that on Friday, and we did not quite get that full breakover that I was looking for. And you notice we touched it again today. They knocked it down. So we really gonna have to watch this level. Now, you can either begin to come back down, retest around 27.65, which is my 50 EMA, and retest this 29. Breaking above that, we can get up to 30.29, and I have another level up here at 31.17 that I want to watch. Now let's bring this out a little bit. And let's just kind of look at how it kind of played around those same little areas right here. Okay, so sort of up in here, of course, we had it, it broke over that and it retested here. And we kind of got a few touches and plays around this area. And then we got this here. Getting above that, we can definitely push up to this highest point here. And let's look at what that was, 32.73. Okay, so these are just some levels that I want you guys to watch. Now, you notice I have my alert here because if SoFi gets below this 50 EMA at that $27, I definitely see this 26.60 coming in. Then I have another level that I'm watching around here around 25.74. And then this very low point here at 23. Now this thing come back down, retest this 200. It holds up, we can probably push back up, but breaking below that, this thing is coming further down. Now the next one I want to look at is MRK. If you are in my Skool community, you know that the trade I did with MRK has been crazy. Not just the most recent one, but every single one that I've done on it. But this one has been giving some of the most amazing rinse and repeat opportunities to catch on this one, okay? Now today we closed out at 101.83, okay? This has been an amazing, amazing ride with MRK. We've been seeing a lot of drugs being approved, not of their drugs and their research and all of that being approved by FDA. And also that Eli Lilly hitting $1 trillion market cap has kind of been pouring into other pharma companies, with MRK being one of them. Now, MRK is also not an extremely volatile stock because it has 77% hold in this thing from institutional investors. That's something to be alarmed about. Now, you see something like that in crypto, you might want to be alarmed. But 77% of MRK shares are held by institutional investors. And that what there just tells us that this is a safe space stock. We don't have to worry about such massive move swings on this thing. And they see this as a stable company as well as one that has that growth potential. Now, if you're in that Skool community, you'll know that this thing was way like $82 when I put that Skool plan in there, that trade plan in there, and we have hit all the way to 105. Now, what I want to show you guys is this. Right up in here, we're going to start in this area here. So you will always be able to notice the consistent touches in certain areas. And when a breakout happens, there's a high chance that it will come back to retest that area before it push higher. This is what I mean by getting so many rinse and repeat opportunities. So I'm going to go to the hourly time frame and show you guys that much more clear. This thing came up. It hit this 97 level, came back down. We broke above it. They pushed up. You may have thought you missed a run. We did a rinse and repeat. I caught rinse and repeat opportunities on this every single time this thing happened, or I added to the contracts on the trades that I had from every time we got this pullback, because holding up, I knew what was going to happen. We were going to push higher. Now, same thing here. We broke that little resistance there, pushed up. We came back down. This thing here, we broke it. And look at where we're kind of playing along that 105.79. Now you can see this took a lot more time to come that down, but patience is the game. And so this is the thing that I'm looking to see take place with them now. Now, honestly, I'm looking for them to come back down to $100, which is getting below this 50 EMA. But if that happens, we can likely start retesting lower levels, or we might be looking at a potential head and shoulders for me here on this hourly time frame, to where, let's just say it might stop out here and then it pushes back up. It may either retest here before it make another move to the upside, or this head and shoulders could potentially be invalidated, and then it starts to push back up again, okay, and start to retest this. But getting above this 105, we can definitely expect this thing to push higher. But right now, I'm counting on this thing retesting this $100 level before pushing back up. But breaking below that 50, we could possibly come back down, and you can kind of see the levels that I'm looking at around $99 and around 97 for a potential hold up to ride back up. So definitely keep MRK on your radar this week, or just for the remainder of December. The next one I want you guys to watch is INTC. This is yet another stock that I talk a lot about in the Skool community. And this one is requested to talk about a lot because everyone kind of see how this thing has been moving. And ever since we got this 50 and 200 cross right here, which is kind of round the end of November, right? We kind of saw this thing push up, and it's one of those things where I talked about the golden cross and the death cross. When that cross happened, we can expect a nice run up. And this here all came from the rumor that Intel and Apple will be partnering again, where Apple will utilize Intel's chips for their lower end M series chips. And if that happens, that was the rumor. All right, you buy the rumor, you sell the news. And then here, you see where they bought the rumor, and they drove Intel up to this little high peak on this candle here to about 40.59 or 40.49, 40.59. So I want you guys to kind of keep that on your radar. So we're going to go to the daily time frame really quickly. And I'm going to show you guys some levels that I am watching on this thing. Now, I was definitely looking for it to break above that $39. If it could break above that from over here, then you kind of see where we had this piece here. It pushed up and got here again. Got some rejection there, and it pushed all the way down. Getting back above 39 would definitely open the door for these higher levels. So I have 39. I have another level right up in here. at around 40.54. This area right up in here at around 41, and of course this highest peak. Getting above 42, it can push higher, 45, 51 to some of those older highs, okay? Now, getting back below this $39 level, I'm looking for this thing to retest at about 38. Then we start to come back. You can kind of see this as a fair value gap. This thing shot up. They may try to bring it back down, get some price action there before we push it back up. And I will be looking at it right around this area at around 37. Now, getting below that, we can definitely begin to come lower. You want to see this thing hold up above 35 so it doesn't push any lower to this little low point here, which is right around about $32, almost $33, okay? So we want to see this thing hold up at least above this 50 to continue to start retesting those older highs. But if it can break above that 40 tomorrow, we can probably expect it to go a little bit higher. And the very last one is APLD. Now, if you've been following me anywhere, if you're in the Skool community, or you're seeing anything that I've posted from Facebook to my posts here on YouTube, you'll know that I have been bringing up APLD like crazy. Now, they have their partnership with CoreWeave. They have a partnership with NVIDIA, and as well as the AI Alliance. Now, they are dishing out a lot of cash, yes, but we can definitely begin to see this thing pop up a little bit higher as it begins to secure more partnerships to get companies, especially the Mag 7, who they're aiming for, to get to lease out space in their data centers, okay? And so they are dishing out a lot of cash to get those data centers built and then seeking out partnerships. The rumor right now is that they are seeking partnership from Apple and they are seeking a partnership from Meta. That happens, APLD could really, really make a move, but their primary focus and spending has been going towards them building hyperscalers, okay? And so this here, you see where I have this break and hold above? I've had that level there for a good bit of time. You see where we had that touch up pushed here around the same area. We finally got that breakout and it finally broke above that 50-day moving average that I've been waiting for. And Friday, this thing hit right up in here. We finally broke and it touched that $29, which was that first target that I had. Getting above that, we can touch 32.94. Break above, we got 35.62, and I have this highest point at 40.15. Now, coming back below that 50 and breaking back below that $25 would definitely bring us a little bit lower, which is around here, where I have to add more shares and to average down on my contracts. But with this one here, was before. So I did get into a trade for this one and I wrote it up, but I still kept my average down here just in case I decide to go ahead and make my move, which I am looking to make to see after I see how it plays out tomorrow. So keep APLD on your radar. They have definitely been a major player for my portfolio in terms of I've been riding this thing since a couple of dollars. So it has been pretty much has been an underdog, but every underdog at some point will pop. Palantir PLTR was at one point a huge underdog, and we see exactly where they are now. So keep APLD, MRK, SoFi, and Intel on your radar this week and for the remainder of December. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.